while you are alive. To feel this, to feel what you are, to feel alive, to feel the life inside of you, to feel. It all comes from inside of you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your happiness, your sadness, it all comes from within inside of you. We are here. The reason why we're here is to feel this life. The life outside of you, even though you can't see it, is the same life that's inside of you. So it's not your thoughts, nor is it what you think about it. Because the life inside of you it's just a feeling, an observance, just like when you watch a movie or just like when you watch anything in life. You're just watching it. And the only reason we are here on earth and the only thing you can do is feel the life inside of you. Because it's in everything. Hello, Mr. Fishstick. And hello, everyone in here. This life inside of you, it's all there is. And you can feel this right now. You can even observe this. your mind changes. You have one idea and you have another. But there's something behind that watches the idea. That is you. And you are this thoughtless state. You think your anger, but that's because you have a thought about anger. And the thought makes you angry. You actually create how you feel. You create all the hate. If that's what you want to feel, all the hate you create. And something about hate and when you make fun of someone, it stays with you for life. For lifetimes. So you're going to have to undo it. You're going to have to beg and surrender to untie your karma. Anytime you do negative, something negative, you're going to have to undo it. So we have a thought, and then we have another thought. They change. But there's someone behind the thoughts that watches the thoughts. That receives the thoughts. In this, the real you that's behind your thoughts. So you have thoughts in front of you, thinking, And the life force of you actually sits behind the thoughts. You actually are a thoughtless state. So your soul or your life force is actually not your thoughts, and it is behind them. You watch them. Instead of getting entangled in your thoughts. So what God really is, actually what all this reality is around us, when you go into the forest, all of the universe is a non-thinking entity. What God in reality really is, and this is how you merge with it, is a non-thinking entity. All of it. Yeah, we're talking about ego death. All of reality and who we really are is the thoughtless state. You got to understand all your thoughts and your emotions, you create them. You can always watch this, rewatch this at the end, Hebrew guy. There is a life force which people call that God. And the life force inside of you it can only be felt. God cannot be seen. It can only be felt. Even if you did see Jesus, even if you did see God, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what they look like. You would feel something from them. Which is like the life force that you are. It is the life force. So while you are alive, right now, So you get untangled from the mind, and feel the life that you are. Because there's nothing other than the life that you are. There is nothing outside of you. You think there's something outside of you, but it all originates from within inside of you. So when you go to the thoughtless state, there's nothing there. Sounds like stoicism in a way. Stoicism, I do like it. But stoicism is just using your mind to your benefit. We are actually even going beyond the mind. We're going, because there is no mind. You think because art, you have some type of idea right here, but if you take your focus away from here, or you ease up, you actually step into an awareness that surrounds you. That's when you hear something. I'm not thinking about it. We actually think that we are located right here. That's a lie. Your attention is right here. But you can actually bring your attention to the outside of your body. You can bring your attention, instead of it being up here, oh, I'm having a thought, oh yeah, thought, whatever thought you're having. You can actually feel the life force inside of you, which is a thoughtless state. So the life force that you are, and that penetrates the whole world, it's not thinking, not at all. The only way for you to feel it is if you stop thinking. And then become aware of your thoughts. So it is a feeling, as in something you actually feel. It's not an emotion. It's not stirred from thought. I'm not sure what you mean by send it down to ourselves. The experience of life, when we have a thought about it, you can't have a thought about life. You're thinking, it doesn't really matter, because it's just thinking. To actually feel alive, your thoughts they're not feeling life. So yes, we all do have the same experience of life, but it has nothing to do with an idea. Hello, JM. Yeah, you have to cut off the five senses, and you could call this a sixth sense. But you go inward and you dial down the mind, because the mind is just, it's always thinking, it's thinking about the next thing. Okay? But actually, there's something that is a standstill that doesn't change. You become your thoughts. That's how like a of a warp hole they are, vortex. But your thoughts change. But if you actually watch your thoughts, if you have observance, then you can tap into the real you. So when you're angry, you're not angry. You're angry because of your thought. Oh, this thought makes me so angry. Well, change your thought. Simply, you create how you feel. Hello, Andreas. You literally create how you feel. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Billy James. Hello, everyone in here. We're talking about what you actually are. We're talking about life. Well, the mind, it, you think because you got to understand you're paying your full attention to your thought. Almost like a dummy. Because it's like I'm staring at something. There's a pole right here, and that's what you're doing when you're staring at your thought. But you're actually living a story, narrating a story in your head. But actually, you're just putting all your attention right here. But there's a bigger thing to pay attention to. Way bigger. It makes this seem like the biggest joke. And it is actually the life force inside of you. So it's not here. It's not right here where you think you are. You think you're right here because of your thought. You have a life force that's It's all around you. It's stepping back from thinking and feeling the life force around you. Yeah. Yeah, I've had super, I've had something beyond the near death experience. Way beyond the near death experience. Yeah. But no, they're good questions. Yeah. The mind is a phantom. Yeah. You can see this by just observing your thought. Change your thought, but see that there's something behind it, which is the real you. It's not changing. This is why when people want to go back to being a kid. Oh, yeah, I want to go be a kid again. That's simply because you were this. You simply weren't thinking when you were a kid. You still are in the same body. Yeah. So, and you can watch your thoughts and go ahead, change your thoughts. Change them to however you want. But you observe. And then you can take it a step further and see when you have no thoughts. It's kind of like a blank stare. It's a break in between your thoughts. And it's who you really are. Yeah. Yeah, Hebrew guy, watch it again. Why stop your thoughts? Because your thoughts it's just thinking, and thinking does not actually feel life. It, it's an illusion. So why you are alive here today, and it's the same with everybody, because everybody's trying to get to this state. That's why we do things. To put us in so we stop thinking. It's the best feeling because it's the feeling of who you are. The mind is just like me moving my arm uncontrollably. Why would I do that? Your mind is just thinking. It has no really expression of life. Yeah. Thinking is just simply thinking. That's what most of the world is doing. but you could actually feel the life inside of you. That's the only other thing you can do. Think about life, and then you can feel. Yeah, Billy James said it's like watching the movies. Yeah, we touched upon this a little bit earlier. Yeah. So thoughts are not aware that thinking is going on. But if you are having thoughts, you can become aware. And there is a difference between the thought and you observing them. And the one that's actually observing, this is why they say God watches you all the time. Because even though I got goosebumps, even though we're inside this body, all of this life's going on around us. And we're inside this body. We're not the thoughts, we're the observer. And this observer, though, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Just simply because it's not thinking. So the person that's not your thoughts, that's observing your thoughts, it's all around you. And this is why they say God is everywhere. Because he really is. It's not necessarily a position. Yeah. Are you sort of saying we are separate from our thoughts? Yes, I am saying that. But for most layman people, you're just going to have to control your thoughts. And that's what I teach too. Because not everybody's just going to be able to go to a thoughtless state. So I have to use your intellect to help you recognize this. So basically, with your thinking and what God really is, God is positive. Life is positive. So if you think you can only think two ways. You think you can think about this and you can think about that. No. Your thinking, when you break it down, you can either think positively or negative. One's not bad or good, but when you think negatively, which most people do, then you go against yourself. Yeah. I think, therefore you play guitar. I'm not sure what you mean by that one, Hebrew guy. No, thoughts are a subtle parasite in the body connected to the back. Yeah. Action controls the person. Yeah. Yeah. Simply, if you ever play this one game called The Sims, it can be any video game, really. But if you play this one game called The Sims, there's like a crystal above their head, and you control the character. But your character in the game is not thinking. That's exactly, we can come into this control, in this power, because there is this control we have outside of us. Again, it's more so of an awareness. But just like the Sims game, how you see it from, you're not actually in the Sim character. You're actually outside of it when you play the game. That's exactly how you take control of your life. Were body cams over 40 years ago? Yeah, the only experience you can have in this life is to feel your life. Everything you would go through, turmoil, sadness, a breakup, you were still this life. You were only thinking about this and that. But you're still this life, this feeling. So the only possible goal in life is to feel this. Everything that happens in your life. What's up, boss? Is for you to realize this. And so people kind of like, it kind of like hurts your ego. But when you get into this, first of all, it's the best feeling. You're feeling life. It doesn't matter if I go to the tropics, all the way in Cancun, to Costa Rica, the Himalayan mountains. I'm still bringing this body in this life. So it doesn't matter where you go. Or what you do. Now, when you do go into this thoughtless state, and you can feel this right now, you feel drawn to do something. I don't know what it is for you. You could simply not want to do anything. But it's not necessarily a thought. It's just a feeling. Yeah. like a school base or something. I feel like it, yeah, I feel like it was a school base. Someone told me about this like 2 months ago. Jimmy H. But yeah, there's a bunch of geese out here. It's just 2 baseball fields. Yeah. Well, I yeah, I was basically sitting outside of my body for 9 years. Kind of like a near-death experience, but I didn't go to the astral world / heaven. Yeah, you don't need to. In fact, that is an illusion in itself. Yeah. No. Yeah, I've always been very calm, but now I'm even more calmer. Yeah. But no, they're great questions. Yeah. So when I was sitting outside of my body, it wasn't just a moment. It wasn't just like one time. It was for 9 years because I was about to die continuously, and I'm still trying to fix my body. But I was outside of my body. We could just say I was stepped back, and I physically even seen that I wasn't the brain or the body. I was sitting outside of it. So in that retrospective, no one can tell me shit. Because, yeah. But some people will be like, oh, you're bragging. Or something like that. Yeah. The purpose is to feel your life, and then even if you can't feel your life, you're you're always being called to do something. This is why you do anything in everyday life. But when you actually tune into this, oh, now you feel this love, and it pulls you to go do something. But so doing what you love will put you in the thoughtless state. And it's always a pull. Yeah. No, we don't ever stop being kids. Yeah. So like in Hindu philosophy, I actually just seen this. The 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 kids actually have a role. They have roles. And the kids are actually meant to teach the parents liberation or the thoughtless mind. Because all babies, if you could actually concentrate on a baby, this is a way it happened to me. You will actually see The baby is not thinking. It's pure awareness. And you can tap into this right now too. Being here with me, but being aware of your thoughts, you're almost there. Yeah, death. Exactly, JM. I know you've been listening to somebody. Cuz death, and thank you all for being here. Death, you have a thought about it. And this is the resurrection of Christ. Whether it happened physicality, Jesus, his thoughts died. And then he became reborn. What did he get reborn into? The feeling of life. He knew the feeling of life now. He became it. So you actually die when your thought dies. Same thing happens when you go to sleep. Yeah. Yeah, death and life. There is only death to the mind. There is only life. You don't necessarily, basically, when you leave the body and die, you are still life. So if you feel the life inside of you right now, you will know when you're going to die. You will feel it. So what dying actually is leaving your mind. That's, yeah. Maybe we'll... Death is always going to scare you. The mind, likes to be scared. Not in a good way. The mind likes to be scared. Yeah. Hello, Kashawn Lee. Yeah, Jimmy H says, where were you before birth? Exactly. It's a great one. Yeah. You go somewhere when you die, which is just you go feeling this life inside of you. And before you were born, you were this life inside of you. Yeah. And there's nothing better than feeling this. You only can think that there would be something better. But this is beyond all of that. Yeah, that is true, Kashawn Lee. Everyone's having a different experience when it comes to finding the life inside of you. But everybody's actually working towards this. Because you can become enlightened anytime. Yeah, but most people could talk about that for like a long time. Yeah. Well, it's hard to say because like it's hard to say, Kashawn, because I'm not that person and I didn't have that experience. Oh man, I think I stepped in like. Hopefully it's not dog shit. It's just dried grass. We're gonna sit next to the Buddha tree. Hello, little Miss Sunshine. Well, again, some people have to go through that. The one girl, like Lisa Kearns, it depends. Like, do they have a teacher? Is the teacher manipulating you or her? I do like Eckhart Tolle, but I don't agree with any of these enlightened masters. um, on, I don't like how any of them teach. It's not that it's bad, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. That's even if you have a teacher, though. Yeah. Some of these people, there's so much to go into that. Yeah. Some of these people beat around the bush. Some of these people are lying. A lot of them are lying. Yeah. But the individual experience, it's always there. It doesn't matter how you get there. But there are actual ancient techniques, even simple things we can do that do quiet the mind. There are. A lot of these people that teach, especially on YouTube, they're just speaking. But there are simple things you can do for the individual to raise your energy so you have a chance of becoming more aware. You can't wait to leave this planet? Yeah. In a way, this planet, because of the stuff we have to do, I'm not even talking like work for money, just breathing, eating, and being a custodian of this body, which can be fun. It is like a hell. You don't have to do this stuff after death or when you leave the body. But people say, oh, this doesn't feel like home, because this is an illusion. This is built off the real home. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying, little Miss Sunshine. We're going to talk about sex real quick. Why people get addicted to sex? Because when you engage and when you ejaculate, your mind actually stops and you feel life. But the thing is usually what happens is it's like a high. So you do feel and go into a thoughtless state for some time. But the energy that it takes to ejaculate and manufacture that in your body, you spend so much energy creating the sperm or the ejaculation for the female that even though it gives you a short burst of ecstasy, which is life, the amount that you have to repair, it takes away in the long run. This is why people keep going back to sex and keep wanting it and wanting it. There are circumstances, if you're with your soulmate, it could just be an up ride. Yeah. She was kind of ugly. We're not talking about whacking off, though. Much love from the Bay, the Outback. You must be tired.
This is it for me today.
You don't walk it off?
I've actually been doing it so long,
You don't got to catch your breath.
No, I don't.
You're in good shape. But we weren't talking about whacking off. Yeah, I know a couple people from Australia. Well, Kashawn Lee, they don't teach, they just make statements. Yeah, like Socrates, he was probably an enlightened person, but they went about it a whole different way. He went around like questioning people, especially in that era that he lived in. There's there's one guy I heard, probably in India, maybe not. He was enlightened, but he just had sex with a bunch of females. Like, even though he had a wife, not sure if he still had one, but he kept wanting to bring the enlightened experience through sex. So any time that you're with an enlightened person, whether it's one-on-one, even if you're unknowledgeable of it, but if you're actually seeking, then it's the best thing you can ever have. Another dog walker.
Another. We're all out early.
That's why I'm out early.
Yeah, it's gonna get too hot.
I'm out with the dogs. Thanks everyone for being here. We'll stay here a little longer. Who let the dogs out? Who? Who? That's the only words I know of that song. Yeah, but some enlightened people, you could say they don't teach. Really, some enlightened people, they go and hide in the Himalayan mountains. That's kind of like a tradition. That's why you don't see them. Yeah. 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 There's nothing wrong with sex or whacking off. I do not support whacking off for your enlightenment. But it's when it invades the mind. And obviously it's invaded everyone's mind in the universe. Not everybody's. But the thing is when you start to think about sex, yeah, it's the strongest desire. How do I know? Because I'm not talking from other people's experience. Even though I've seen other people's experience. And I always take in from the outside. But I've had the feeling. I've actually been starving. Not just I didn't eat for a day or a couple days. That's not sex is actually the strongest desire. Yeah. But then again, it's just in the mind. So you technically could have sex without thinking about it. But then you wouldn't even care to have sex unless you were really pulled towards it. Because once you feel, sex is an outward experience. When you feel the life inside of you, this is it. There is no greater experience. Yeah, opens up the bilateral colonizing floras. Yeah. Sex is fun. No, she was kind of ugly. You caught like the bare end of it. Yeah, that's the bliss. That's a longer conversation. But anything that we do, we are trying to wake up. Even if you don't know it. So you can become aware of what you're doing. And then you will feel called to do certain things. Yeah. And then it's your choice if you're going to actually follow through or you're going to keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Like, let's say I wanted to climb a mountain right now. I mean it. Absolutely right now. I wanted to rock climb. I would hang up this live and go do it. Because that's what's calling me. It's a love. Okay? But I don't want to, that's not what's calling me. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong inherently with anything. You can actually do dope. Fishy word. But you can do any substance and actually be enlightened. Yeah. That's why we can't despise anybody. The smartest people, some of the people that are very close to enlightenment, they don't have a home. They could be using drugs and living on the streets. Everyone has a little bit of wisdom for you. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with anything. But is it consuming you? Are you suffering? If you're suffering, yeah. I told my friend I don't believe in condoms. Yeah. I, yeah. Condoms are an invented thing. Yeah. I I don't think you really experience sex with a condom on. Yeah. Yeah, Little Miss Sunshine, you're smart. I love you, Fizz. I'm a bit confused whether you're talking about either self improvement. Are you talking about like my videos on YouTube? Or are you talking about the live, Kashawn Lee? There, there is stuff though. You got to understand a lot of these enlightened people. Some of them, you, if you improve your energy, the more energy that you have, the more likely you're going to become enlightened. Yeah. Listening to the body. So there, if you, let's just say, you change the food you eat, and you have more energy, you're symbiotically going to feel better. Then you have more of a staying, having a glimpse of awareness or enlightenment, such as when you sleep. That's what sleep is. It it takes a certain level of steady energy to be in this all the time. Okay? A lot of people, Eckhart Tolle, he doesn't have uh, no recommendations for how to actually improve your energy. Most people don't even talk about this. A lot of people, in my perspective, a lot of people they just talk about non-duality or God. I attack it from every angle. You know, variety is a spice of life. Where your energy goes, it will flow. Yeah. Yeah. That's why some people, even though they don't like their work, they like going to work. And I've noticed people, they they feel better, even think better, because when they go to work, even though they don't like it, they're so distracted, they naturally stop thinking. Like you're laying bricks down. They're laying bricks down. But they're not thinking. Wow. But they're not aware. That's the thing. Being aware is totally different. Thank you, taught me fun thunder. Does ribbed for her pleasure. The phone probably does. People want sex. The problem is with sex, even if you actually think about it, people want it. And this is my advice to females. That you actually have to go do it. People think about sex and watch it on their phone too, obviously, more than they actually do it. That's so it's like a hindrance towards yourself. And I feel like a lot of women are afraid to express themselves sexually. But I also understand that women have, in the female aspect, it has been suppressed. Yeah. That's why when guys, when they go get a female, they're overly aggressive because the girl is kind of like timid and under-secure, where it should be more of a balance. From both sides. It's not one or the other. I was in the beach and I'm in a coffee restaurant. Yeah. Send me some pictures, Andreas. Oh. Tommy Thunder, much love to you. Much love to Little Miss Sunshine. Same with JM. The body has karma. All the karma is unwatched behavior. So if I go smack someone right now and they feel real negative about it, which most people will, unless it's an enlightened person, then I'm connected to that person for the rest of eternity, not just for the next couple days. Yeah. So even when you touch somebody, you're connected to them. But if I slap someone and they react negatively, now I have to deal. There may be, even if I am enlightened, or you are, you're going to have to deal with a bounce back effect. That is true. The soul, and this is what God is. He's in the sky right now, but he's just watching. Yeah. Yeah, you got it, Kashawn Lee. I do self-improvement things. Yeah. Yeah, I dabble in it all. But I'm always coming from, no matter what I do, whether I'm fishing, and I've always been this way. But now I'm even more, I'm watching. Whether I'm making music, make music, fishing, I'm coming from the heart. Not here to be mean to people. Do any type of negativity. If someone thinks I'm doing negativity, that's just coming from their mind. But I always do stuff from the core of my being. Yeah. It's definitely not an equal exchange. She was kind of ugly because yeah. And I don't really see, it doesn't matter if you work or if you don't. Because there's people of all sorts. And what matters most is this what you want to be doing? So there's people who vlog and they live on a yacht. They work their way up to it. But every day they're filming and it's them on their yacht. Vagabond. They're on YouTube. But that's what they actually want to do. So you go and do it. Maybe they're not enlightened. They're not. But hey, they're happy. I get goosebumps from doing that. Or saying that. Yeah. So the way to escape is actually just doing what you love. Yeah. Big mamas. Yeah. There's yeah. Yeah, I personally don't like going into like big shopping areas. But there is a flow of energy, such as like New York City. You could be like on a carnival boardwalk, which sounds pretty nice. Be right next to the beach. You may feel called just to be on the beach. That may be your enlightenment experience. Yeah. Yeah. You may not do nothing when you go on the beach for some time. But all drugs, if you're taking them for fun, then yeah, that's all there is. But they're bringing you closer to shutting up your mind and feeling the life inside of you. I will admit that butcher shops, maybe they're not natural in a sense, there'd probably only be like one animal if we were eating on it. There wouldn't be like carcass after carcass. Yeah. It's definitely not the most pleasant sight. I will say that. Thank you for the emojis, Little Miss Sunshine. I'm an emoji lover. Yeah. Thank you, Tommy Thunder. God's watching us. Yeah. God basically has the most patience. He is stillness. So we have to become still to feel him. And he's here to test our faith. Oh, I'm going to put handsome men in front of you. I'm going to put beautiful women in front of you. Oh, I'm going to give you all these nice lights. Give you electricity. And then there's stories, there's offshoots of all of that. This is where myth and lores come from. But we're talking about right here. Yeah. God is everywhere and everything. Yeah. That is true. That's why everything you do, more so that has a negative output to the world, it's seen and it will come back to you. When you do something positive, which is something that feels good out of you, yeah. God is everywhere and everything. Mm-hmm. That is true. More money, more freedom. Yeah. When you're living in the money society. But you can get money. Yeah. It's kind of easy, to be honest. But you want to do it when you're younger and you want to realize this, because it kind of sometimes takes money to make money. And if you're 60 years old working a full-time job, you might not have the energy and ambitions to go do that. Yeah. So, like, one for pretty women, it's kind of a curse for some of them, because what do some of them do? It could be the same for guys, but women, especially because of mirrors and videos now, they flaunt themselves on social media. And they be, even if they're not trying to, they actually become intrinsically obsessed with their looks. And well, then you get stuck in Maya. Being broke. There's a reason why you started off broke. Yeah, we're about to go, little Miss Sunshine. So the you you have more of an opportunity when you are in poverty. When you're rich, especially born into it, you see, you have more of an opportunity to be snobby. That's why rich people are usually snobby. They won't even get, some rich people won't even get dirty. Yeah, TikTok, I never really watched TikTok. I have posted stuff on there. But I did watch like some TikToks randomly. Yeah, and like it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know if I was a woman if I would do that. Yeah, I don't think I would. Yeah. Everything is used for a chance of spiritual growth. The more hard of a life though that you live or lessons learned, it will create more of a demand. Yeah. You 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 may not be able to tell this, or some people can't. There could be someone speaking actually the truth, but it's very light. Some people never really go through anything in their life. And it's not that you even have to, but I've noticed from the deep sense of will, it creates a divine being. Yeah. Much love to everybody. I'll be on here tomorrow morning or tonight, about 12 hours from here. Yeah, about, half a day, moon. I think this is the craziest era to be enlightened. Yeah. The hardest is usually like the most rewarding. Yeah. So you're actually highly potentially right. There's so much misinformation. And there's so the accessibility. Yeah. But it also could be the hardest. Yeah. But then that just makes it more relaxing. That's when why we turn inward, and nothing outside has really any significance. Yeah. The greatest thing, though, especially now, we're going to be living in like tribes, having big like campfires, communities. I got goosebumps a little bit. But that's what the future has set up coming out of these times. More connected with nature. Yeah. Thank you, Kashawn Lee. We could talk about that more, though. She was kind of ugly. I'll see everyone later. Stay blessed. See you later. Be happy. Smile. Anytime.